What's good, guys? Today is an animated book review of How to Not Give a Fuck by Mark Manson. So this is an interesting book. In the first part of the book, he actually goes after the self-help industry. He talks about how in self-help, personal development, they talk about having visualization, that we got to visualize having more money. We got to visualize having better success, more success. We got to visualize just being overall happier. And he says the problem with visualization is that it reinforces the fact that we are unhappy, we don't have enough money, we're not successful. So in order to explain this idea, he uses a philosopher by the name of Alan Watts. Now, Alan Watts came up with this theory or this law called the backwoods law or the reverse effect. So what this law basically states is wanting a positive experience is in fact a negative experience. And by accepting a negative experience, we are in fact having a positive experience. And so what this basically is trying to say is that the more we want something, the more it reinforces the fact that we don't have it. So for example, somebody who wants to look more attractive only feels less attractive, feels ugly, no matter how many people tell her she's beautiful or tell her she's gorgeous. And the more money we may want, the more broke, the more destitute we feel, no matter how much money is in our bank account. The more relationships, the more connection we seek, the more alone we feel, no matter how many people surround us with love and give us affection. The point Mark Manson is trying to make in this book is that the more we want it, again, the more it reinforces the fact that we don't have it. And so what Mark goes on to say is that we have to learn to accept our negative experiences. Because here's the thing, life is filled with negative experiences. Life is filled with pain. Life is going to be filled with sorrow and regret and suffering. But by accepting our negative experience, by accepting the fact that we're going to go through some struggles, that we're going to go through some trials, we can in fact learn to be happier in moments of pain, in moments of sorrow. And so the book then goes on to talk about accepting the suffering in order to obtain a goal. So now that we can realize that life is filled with pain, life is filled with some sorrows, life is filled with some suffering, now we can figure out which suffering are we willing to accept. And this is where the book really shines. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is where the book really gets to the meat and potatoes of things. Because when we can realize that life as a whole is going to have some pain in it, then we can start and pick and choose the things that we are willing to accept in terms of the suffering that we're willing to deal with. So an example of this, just so I can help flesh this idea out, is say you are working at a job that you don't love. You show up every Monday morning mad because you got to be at that job. And on the nights and weekends, you're working on a side business. You're working on a business that hopefully in the future is going to allow you to quit that job and pursue freedom, to have financial independence. So when you get off of your job, you come home, you grab yourself a bite to eat, and then you begin to toil away at work. You start working on your side business. So you spend the night trying to improve your side business. And then on the weekend, you do the same. You spend the whole day trying to work on your business. What Mark says is that, hey, isn't that a form of suffering, right? You could be watching Netflix. You could be grabbing a beer on the weekends and watching the game, but instead you're working hard in achieving your side business so that you can let go of the job that you maybe don't like. And so that in a way is a form of suffering. But here's the thing. We know that by working on that side business, you're getting closer to your goal. By working nights and weekends, you're getting closer to your vision. And so even though you're having to suffer in terms of spending more time, maybe not sleeping, spending more time giving up your weekends, you know that you're going towards a goal. That suffering serves a purpose in terms of getting you closer to your dreams. So the book then goes on to talk about uncertainty. It talks about goals a little more in depth. It talks about how to deal with death. It talks about it quite a bit, but I'm gonna leave that to you guys to read. But if I'm going to summarize this book in a few sentences, this book really is about learning to let go of some of the excess that we care about and simplify what we care about to the things that really matter. So hit that subscribe and that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. The book, if you're looking for it, it's in the description box of my YouTube video. So definitely go check that out. But until next time, peace.